So hello. Welcome back to the channel. This is Jimmy. Thank y'all for clicking on the episode. I'm pretty excited about this one.
And I'm excited, nervously excited, as I told you.
Listen, you always say you're nervous to speak, and I keep telling you, like, you're one of the best orators that I get to work with. But listen, I already know how that works sometimes.
Well, let me just say thank you. So, and embrace that. Well, thank you. And also, thanks for having me, man. I've been really excited. I asked to be on the show. I'm a follower. And right now, you're putting out a lot of positive energy into the universe, and we need that more than ever. So thank you.
Listen, I appreciate the kind words. Well, listen, why don't you, introduction and, why you're on the channel, what you do, tell us about the leadership journey, man. We'd love to hear the whole nine.
Absolutely. So, as you know, basically, I have a team called Cumber Real Estate. We solve problems using real estate. So I buy and sell houses as both an agent, but also as an investor. So there's certain problems we can't solve as real estate agents that I can solve as a home buyer. Oh. So I've had this passion for real estate, second generation realtor. My mother was also a realtor, and real estate changed my life. So I use real estate to help empower other people and change their lives. So
awesome,
you know, that's why I'm doing it.
So how long you been in the realty game?
Well, it's really
it's in the blood, because mine was a realtor.
So I have been purchasing houses for both my own personal investment as well as helping others for over 25 years. So wow. I just went into it hard.
You were 15.
Shh, don't tell nobody. I am grown. So over 20 years, but I really got into it full time and said, this is what I'm going to do for a living, and made that transition from corporate America into entrepreneurship, which is a heck of a leap, but an exciting one.
Well, listen, you're the third person I've interviewed on the channel that's either in the process of making that leap or has already done it. And so we'd love to hear, tell me a little bit about your corporate America journey, and then ultimately what led you to saying, you know what, I can get in business myself.
Well, first of all, corporate America, I've been working since I was 14 years old. So I've been grinding for many, many years. And I've had the privilege of working for Fortune 100 companies, some of the biggest and best names out there, multi-unit leader, regional directors, district managers, market training manager roles. And here's the nice thing. While I'm not in corporate America now, that's where the foundation of this business came from. The sales skills, the P&L management, the communication skills, the hiring. So all those things directly dovetailed. But not long ago, I had an opportunity to exit corporate America. And I asked myself, if I could do anything in the world, what would I do? And you start one of those blank sheet of paper activities. And that kind of got me here to where I am. And just kind of made it a fun journey. But yeah.
Okay.
So I know entrepreneurship is not for everybody, but it was time for me. I just had this burning desire that wouldn't fade.
Yeah. Listen, I love you talking about writing it down. I just did an episode, when was it, last week, about goal setting. And, when you write something down, it puts it in your subconscious mind. Have you read Think and Grow Rich? You've given me a couple good books to read as I've known you. You put me on The Richest Man in Babylon. You made my kids read that book.
Game changer when you think about money and how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I love that as well. So no, that's kind of what brought me here, Jimmy. And I wake up every day a little nervously excited, just like for this podcast. Man, are we gonna be able to pull it off today?
Yeah.
Because in real estate, it's you do a lot of work, but you don't always get a result from it that day. Yeah. So you have to make an investment. You have to create value, build trust, and then hope that the universe returns it to you.
Well, it sounds like you made an investment in yourself too. So you talked about and I, listen, a big part of why I started this channel, if I'm being transparent.
Yep.
I get out and I shop, and I remember, growing up in Cleveland, we didn't have name brand stores. So the stores we had service the community. So I worked at a, mom and pop grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's nothing glamorous about bagging groceries, but you learn customer service. You learn how to, I think most important, you learn how to serve your community. And a mall, any shopping center is only as good of an experience as the people that fill it, right? And so I would love to hear, you're somebody that said you were in corporate America in that sales space for 20 years. I'm assuming you didn't see yourself selling real estate, but tell me, how did you take those skills? What was the mindset to be able to take those skills and use them in a different application, to go out and make money on your own?
Yeah, I mean, you're asking a great question, and questions friends have asked me as well. And I think a lot of times other people trust us, but we don't trust ourselves. So, Jimmy, you and I have both had the privilege of leading these big organizations, putting out big numbers. I think at one point I was a trainer for a $1 billion market, and I was the exclusive sales trainer. So all these people had trust in me, but I didn't really have that confidence in myself.
Right, you're part of something generating $1 billion. Like, when you think about that, that's wild.
It's insane, and for the sales organization at that. So I think a lot of making that leap was, first of all, getting rid of that imposter syndrome and saying that I am who God said I was, right? And the Bible says things like we're fearfully and wonderfully made, right? Be bold and courageous, right? Yeah. Those who keep their hope in the Lord will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and they will not grow faint. So when you look at those verses out there, God's telling us to go hard in the paint, right?
I love it.
He's really saying that. And many times we play small because it's comfortable.
Yeah.
And I guess I just went to the point that it was more painful for me to fail at doing this, less painful for me to fail at doing this than it was for me not to try. They say when people are on their deathbeds, it's not the things they did that they regret. It's the things they never did. So I said, why not me? Why not now?
Right. I'm thinking about, like, you could have did any of like the really big realtor platforms that you did one that allowed you to be a kind of entrepreneur on your side. Like, walk me through that decision. Like, why not one of the big established?
Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking.
Great question. I'm with the small boutique brokerage right now called Powerhouse Realty, and it's a brokerage built for agents by agents.
Yeah.
The owner is an agent who actively sells within his own brokerage. He thought about all the problems he had as an agent, and he solved it. So the reason I like this one is it allows me to do the things I'm good at. Talk with folks like you while I've got a team in the background. In addition to my in-house team, I also have a team of transaction coordinators who solve problems for me before they exist.
I mean, the experience has been fantastic. The technology, I don't know, I'm assuming like all the photographers are all supported through the brokerage, or is that like your own, like, did you have to build that book of business?
Well, I did have to build that book. So you're seeing a hybrid. So I've got both the brokerage's team, but I've also built my team. Okay. Like my video crew came through and shot your house, put together videos. I've got my own.
Like,
that's it. That's right. Social media team out there making sure I'm out there every day and that people can find me. They're building my website with cumberrealestate.com. So I have both my personal team as well as the brokerage's team, and that's part of what my mother used to call the Cumber team. So she said every resource I can bring to bear for you is part of my team.
Heck yeah, man. That's what's up, man. Like, and listen, I love that you again, like, anybody that's inspired to go off and I think, play outside of their comfort zone. That's where growth happens. And we've been in this game long enough to know that, that's where growth happens. We kind of challenge. I've definitely challenged some people in my career that works for me. But when it's time for you to take that leap, it can be a little scary, man. So, like, again, talking to people like you's an inspiration.
Yeah.
I think it lets people know what's possible.
Well, you got to get around people who do it, right? So if you talk to all your buddies and all your friends.
Oh, they wasn't going to be so nice. Okay.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Every now and then, every episode, there's an action scene.
That's I like that. That was hard. We had to dodge it. We can put the Mission Impossible music in the background.
We can make it look real traumatic. I don't know how my editing skills, but we'll figure it out.
You got this.
So to make sure my mic is not all over.
Oh, I got you. I tried to told you, man.
Yeah. Well, it's not bad.
Jimmy got me out here in the cold. It's like a 30-degree wind chill. It's crazy, man.
I'm glad you're from the area. It could be worse if you was from like Georgia.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, if I was from Florida, the Florida folks start crying it when we fall below 60 degrees.
I lived down south for 10 years. You'd think I'm a Southern boy like all my life because I don't like the cold. Well, man, listen. Any advice for somebody like working? Like, working a 9-to-5 now, or, working in corporate America, that, maybe they feel stuck. Like, what advice would you give them today to, to either lean into what they're doing or, if they're contemplating something different? Like,
I think really, first of all, you say when somebody feels stuck. That's a danger right there already. So the first thing is mindset. Right? If you think you're stuck, right? And if you think you're free and nothing can hold you back, that's also true. I think it's the Henry Ford quote. He says, if you believe you can do a thing or not, either way, you're right. You know, so first of all, you got to get your mind right, because entrepreneurship is hard. It's terrifying, right? When I mess up now, there are immediate consequences. You're not playing with, it's not like playing Monopoly like it's real money. You're playing Monopoly with your own money and your client's money, right? You know, it's true. It's a lot. So I think the mindset's very important, number one. I'd also say, get your network right. Start hanging with people who do the things you want to do. I'm hanging with you because I love the way you build your brand, the way you've given me confidence to go out there and kind of say things that I feel very strongly about, that not always, that might not be embraced. Not everybody's going to love your message. Right. And as an agent, not every customer is my client. Right. You know, so I'd say getting that network. But when I got around people who were doing some of the things I wanted to, so I did buy a franchise, which franchises have about an 80% success rate compared to a startup has a much lower success rate, because the franchises give you systems. So I invested in myself that way by buying a franchise. It's the We Buy Ugly Houses people, or home investors. So they gave me a lot of confidence and training on that buy side that allowed me to get rid of the imposter syndrome, but also have business models.
Let's turn around real quick. You said imposter syndrome twice now, and I know that's something a lot of people struggle with. Like, I've struggled with it in my career. I mean, I would love maybe share a little bit more, like what are some of the things you've done to, because I know your background and some of the jobs the positions you've held, right? To be a regional trainer for a $1 billion region is a big deal. So we'd love to hear, like, how did you overcome those imposter syndromes? What are some things that made you raise your hand, you know, when maybe you didn't think you were ready, but those doors open?
Yeah, I wish I could tell you I conquered it. So I just think you get comfortable being uncomfortable, right? You heard that phrase. So, you know, I'm terrified every day, but you can either allow fear to hold you back, or the fear can drive you forward, right? So if you're afraid to fail, right, I just work harder. I double down on it, and every time that I get a quote unquote failure, because we use that F word all wrong, right? Right? Because those failures are building your stepping stones for your successes. Lessons. Exactly. So that's really got to be that fuel. And every time I swing and strike out, I just say, that's awesome, right? Like people are like, well, why are you excited? I said, there's a saying from a real estate coach, and he says, the more rejection you embrace, the more money you make. So you think about it, most people are hiding from rejection, but successful people, they tell them no all the time, and they just keep going. So I think that I still have imposter syndrome. Trust me, my coach, my mentors, they can tell you, they're like, what are you waiting for, Carlos? And I'm like, I don't know if I can do it or not. And they're like, then they have to remind me. So the way we also measure progress sometimes is crazy, because we think about how far away we are from our goal. But the funny part is, the closer we get to our goal, we just move the finish line out, right? So what I do is how to measure success looking backwards, right? You think about how far we've walked today, right? And we weren't even thinking about it. So when you're really measuring it, like, man, I remember when I was making minimum wage and getting paid this, and this, and now I'm, you know, servicing clients, buying houses. I own, you know, multiple properties. I have rentals. So a lot of those things, you're like, you got to stop sometimes just to take inventory. Be like, I did that.
Gratitude. The big part of gratitude. I tell my kids, you know, you really can't have nothing without gratitude. And, you know, people ask me all the time, like, well, how the heck did you make it out of that spot or whatever? And it's like gratitude. You know, every day I was just happy to wake up and see the sun again, right? I'm on this side of the earth, and that's a good place to get you to positivity really quick.
Yeah, and Jimmy, when I'm watching your show, I watch your show to get me hyped in the morning, right?
I appreciate it,
because when I'm watching your walk and talk, you'll address some mindset that we're all struggling with. You'll share how you did it, or you'll share how one of your clients got through it. So I do think you have to refill your own cup. Let's be real. If you're looking for external validation all the time, it ain't coming. Right. Ain't nobody gonna knock on your door in the morning and be like, you're a rock star. You know,
it is nice to do it. Exactly. That's right. That type of community. Let me know.
That's right. And if you got those friends and family, you hug them. You hug them. Right.
Cherish good people. You just wake up every day, somebody knocking on your door, like, you know, you're a rock star.
Man,
no, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So you got to get your headset right, your mindset. But you were asking me about, I think mindset's important, but also getting those resources and that network around you, and then just kind of you got to enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
So enjoying the journey, sometimes we're only focused on when I make this much, when I get to this point, right?
Right.
But only day we got is today. So I got to celebrate that day, you know, and sometimes just slow down.
Listen, and I think social media can have you thinking that everybody goes from 0 to 60. But you've mentioned several people as we've been talking, Henry Ford. Like, I think it's really easy to think this dude was in his 20s. He was almost 50.
He was old, and they didn't live that long.
Right.
So
yeah, that's true, man. Yeah. And it's a couple other ones, like I mean, again, Jeff Bezos. Like, he's a billionaire, but he didn't start off there. I think he was at 40 when he finally like hit the switch and was like, hey, I need to do something different.
And if y'all want to have some fun, go look at Bezos before Amazon was big time. He's sitting in a little raggedy desk.
Yeah.
He borrowed some money from his family. They thankfully could give it. And he was even on talk shows, and they were talking about how much money he was losing every year.
So, I remember it when they were like, Amazon's not ever going to be profitable. And look what they've done.
And now it's a juggernaut.
Yeah,
right? You know what I'm saying?
It's his own beast, man. That's really good stuff.
Yeah.
Dang, I had another thought in my head. I lost it. I'll come back to it, I'm sure.
Well, you impress me being able to have these conversations and walk and talk. And when I watch you, you be dodging cars, walking off the metro, and I'm like, how's this guy structuring an entire conversation?
I'll just let it flow. Actually, I don't really have a lot of structure. That's the wild part. Like, I just get out here. I'm like, you know what? I'm thinking about this on the train. I'm just gonna share it, and you know, sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. You know, I would love to think about it. You say you follow it, man, so I appreciate the support. We're in the early days of this, so like I said, I always appreciate people who get like early adopters.
Yeah.
Because it's not a small thing lost on me that 10, 15 minutes. You know, you can be doing anything else with that time, so it means a lot. Any suggestions of like where you would like to see this channel go? Because I started to kind of hopefully make an impact in the community and up everybody's level of service and have this like big call to action for leaders.
Well, the thing that you're doing that I like, so in your last one, I think you had a young lady out starting a business. She was talking about the struggles of just having a computer to do her work, right?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
And we always think everybody's got everything that they need. But I even asked you what equipment you got. I'm like, why you ain't got no drone? You ain't got that? Sometimes we're thinking through all the stuff that we need, right? But the most important thing is we need to get started with what we have from where we are.
Amen.
And I said, loving to see the channel. I'd like you to tell more of those tough stories, right?
Okay.
You know, like I always tell people when I bought my first house, my credit score was 580.
Yeah.
You know, you can't be like, how you buy a house with 580? Well, I didn't have it when I finally got the mortgage, but started with 580. I almost lost that house, man, because I didn't know how to financially budget. So I had to heat it about 80 degrees in the wintertime, and I'm getting gas bills that were equal to my mortgage.
Yep.
And I almost lost it. Then I said, Mom, I'm going to have to get this back to the bank. My mama said, boy, that's a nice house. Somebody'd like to live there. And my mama turned me into a landlord, right? And then people like, well, what if your landlord, your renters mess up the property? Mine did. Yeah. They flooded it. Yeah. Oh, flooded my whole house. But guess what? I had insurance. Yeah. So the insurance paid for a full renovation. Then I sold my first house for twice what I paid for it. And because I understood real estate and taxes, there were zero capital gains on that because I had lived in that house for 2 years.
My man.
So, but people get punched in the mouth, man. And that's part of life. It's not all sunshine and roses. There are days I look at my bank account and I'm sweating a little bit and I'm like, that's when you got to lean on faith a little bit. Like, God, I know you didn't take me through this whole journey to let me, take me out in the fourth quarter,
No, amen to that.
Oh, yeah.
No, I think, who was it? Napoleon Hill, the guy that wrote Think and Grow Rich. It was a quote from that book. And he said, what was it? Like, losers find, like, wait, or they always find the excuse not to do it or the excuse not to do it. And winners are going to find a reason to do something. It's such a small difference that I can't tell you how many times I'm like, I'll have a conversation with somebody and, we're talking and they're saying, hey, I need something better. And then you give them 4 suggestions, and they'll give you 14 reasons on why they can't do it.
That's it.
And it's like, if you really wanted to,
you can overcome anything.
You can overcome anything.
And
that's huge.
And when you get punched in the mouth and you get knocked down, quitting is a choice. And I remember I was telling what my mama said. I remember one time I had a tough job. You ever get that job where I was on probation and they were writing me up, and I said, Mama, I'm tired of this. I'm gonna quit. She said, I'm gonna love you either way, baby. But she said, be careful, quit. Because once you get started, it's hard to stop. So, and then she just hangs up the phone, and I'm sitting there like, is it okay to quit or not? I don't know.
I just pondered it.
But I didn't quit that job, by the way. And fast forward, I had the 13 quarters of consecutive growth, and there was a guy who took my job, and he took my job. I smoked his results, I smoked his numbers, and if I had quit, I would have never gotten that victory or that self-confidence boost from that one. So,
Man,
you know, you just got to keep pushing forward, and you also got to have an open mind on what success looks like.
Yeah.
Right, because it may not be the number you wanted. So if your number was, hey, I'm gonna do $1 million in revenue, right, and you hit 900, that's not a failure.
Right.
Right?
Right.
You know,
No.
that's progress, and progress is success.
Absolutely. Listen, I love the call to challenge to keep telling these tough stories, because I think a lot of people, they get to the top and that's all you hear about, but it's a struggle, you know, it's letting people know how you went from A to Z, because most people don't do it overnight.
Yeah.
Right. And I think you said a couple things like loving the journey. You know, I tell my team now, like, you know, you could either just sell stuff or you can connect with people.
Yeah.
And if you're selling stuff, it's going to get pretty boring.
That's it.
But if you're connecting with people, oh my goodness, like it's a field day. Like, and then whether you work in
it.
retail, whether you work in real estate, you're connecting with people and you love the people part, you're going to probably be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not about the money. It's about creating trust and value for another human being.
And you do that, the money's going to come.
That's right.
Automatically.
The money will come.
Automatically.
Yeah. Like Hormozy, he says value, 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 right? Create so much value that people are like, I owe you money for all that you've given to me. Take this.
Yeah.
Right. And I think we got to think about it that way instead of being like, well, I'll do this for you if. Right. You know, because people come to you, hey, will you show me this? Will you tell me that? Well, if I said, no, I'm not going to talk to you until you pay me, you know, I might not have a lot of conversations.
Right.
But if I start to create value, that don't mean I give away the business, but if I start to create value and begin to help them or show them somewhere along the way, we go stronger, and then that relationship becomes a partnership.
And I love that. And I'll tell people, you know, one thing I want to get this channel out, you talked about even like looking outside for validation or salvation.
Yeah.
You know, if you want them to change, start changing within. You can go deep as you want. You can build new skills. You can make yourself more attractive. And if you're focused on that, like I can't tell people enough. I'm a kid from the projects in Cleveland and manifested myself running an Apple store. So yeah, man, it is one of those things where if you just continue to work on yourself, and I tell everybody, you cannot go wrong by investing in how to connect with people. Like,
and you do that. You're going to a conference soon.
Yeah.
I've invested, LeBron invests over $1 million a year just into his body, right? So if our mind is going to get us there, our mind is our vehicle, why wouldn't we invest? Yeah. And I've had people tell me, you're going to spend that much on a conference? That's crazy.
Yeah.
And I pay a coach, I pay mentors, but I get to keep the knowledge, right? You know? So when they coach me, when I get those things, or when I walk away from that conference, I'm not the same person who walked in there. So
yeah, and we'll pay it to an institution and pay 10 times that, but for some reason, mentally, a conference,
we can't write ourselves a check.
Right. Yeah. My wife did. You know, we did the Tony Robbins Unleashed thing. You know, and again, like it's, you know, I know it's not a small ticket. It's $600, but I mean, it's 4 days. It's the personal stuff. She's doing the Tony AI, and she loves it. Like, it's making her feel good. And it's like, well, isn't that worth the?
That's it.
Is that not worth the investment on itself?
And we got YouTube now too, so you can get on YouTube.
Right.
And most of these programs, just like Hormozy, is going to give you a lot of free game.
Yeah.
So
I mean, listen, YouTube is my best subscription.
Yeah.
I use the unlimited
YouTube University. Yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Learn about anything you want. Learn how to do photography. Learn how to shoot video. Learn how to edit.
Yeah.
So, you know, we don't have a lot of excuses other than, you know, we're in our own way.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, man, Carlos, this was great. I don't even know how long this one is. It was such a nice day.
Cut out all the bad stuff.
Listen, I don't know if there was anything. Listen, man, thank y'all for clicking on another video, hanging out with my man, Carlos Cumber from Cumber Realty. So check him out if you know somebody selling a home or needing a home. So need to buy a home.
That's
coming
right.
to Maryland.
If you got real estate questions, if you want to know about how to use real estate to invest, if you got a problem that you need someone to help you solve, whatever we can do for you, even if it's not us, we will do. So cumberrealestate.com, and you can reach out to me. Can I give my number? Can I drop my number on your channel? Yeah. You guys can hit me up on my personal cell. Don't blow me up, because I know Jimmy got a lot of fans. I love text messages, 703-728-5839. And then I got a better number, which is 443-381-6070. That's my business line as well. So you guys can reach out to me, and we'll gladly take care of you and help any way I can. Listen, thank you for having me, Jimmy.
Even if you want your house to look like MTV Cribs and you just want somebody to come photo shoot that mug, like, it's worth it. Call my man. Listen, thank y'all. You know what to do. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. We see y'all soon.